What's up guys, welcome back to another video. I promise you guys that I will be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and that is definitely what I'll be doing today. So ladies and gentlemen, I've been using the Z Fold 7 for the past 3 weeks and I'll be comparing the Z Fold 7 with my last year favorite foldable phone of the year, which is the Honor Magic V3, and compare it to the brand new latest Honor Magic V5 as well. Tell you guys why I didn't upgrade to the V5 but chose the Fold 7 instead. I'll be telling you about the good stuff about the Fold 7, some of its shortcomings, and overall whether you should get the Z Fold 7 and whether it is the best foldable in the market right now. So without further ado, let's get straight into the design of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. So first up, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 at 8.9mm folded. It is one of the thinnest, if not the thinnest, foldable right now in the market. Samsung is definitely up their game when it comes to foldable design. The Honor Magic V5 comes at 8.8mm. However, there are some controversies surrounding on whether the V5 actually is 8.8mm thin, but with the Fold 7 there is no controversies at all. It is 8.8mm thin folded, and that is one of the most thin foldables right now in the market. And you do feel that in the hand as well. And the weight, it is just 215 grams, making it the lightest foldable currently in the market. The hinge feels rock solid with no wobble at all, and it has a smooth resistance and it holds its angle really well. Coming from the Honor Magic V3, it does have a good hinge, but it is not as solid as the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Okay, so I forgot to mention one thing when it comes to the design. So the Fold 7 is so thin, when I put my phone on a table it wobbles really badly. So what I had to do is I had to buy a case to put on it. So unfortunately I cannot experience the whole full thinness of it. I did use it without a case for the past 2 weeks and it's genuinely one of the best phones to use without a case because I love it. I love the thinness so very much. However, I can't stand the phone wobbling when I have to type on my phone without having to lift it up, because I'm just too lazy to lift up the phone when typing, and I'm really afraid of damaging the camera. So what I had to do is I had to pick up a nice little case from Nikin. It does protect the camera as well, which is great, and it serves as a phone stand, so I don't have to worry about, you know, breaking the foldable screen. All I have to do is place it like that, open up the screen, and I can watch my favorite videos just like that, and it works really well. And also, one good thing about this case is that although the Z Fold 7 no longer supports the S Pen, it does have a cute little pen here. Now, of course, it doesn't work as well as an S Pen, but I would say it kind of works. So you can see here, you can draw, you can still kind of draw. So although it is not an S Pen, it's not as sensitive as an S Pen, but it's still a pen and you can still draw on the screen. So I do think that this is one of the great cases for the Fold 7. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description and you can check out this case for yourself. And that's how I've been rocking the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Next, let's talk about the display. So the main display is a gorgeous 8-inch dynamic OLED with LTPO hitting up to 2600 nits indoors, and in outdoors it is vibrant, colorful, and it's still plenty bright when you're viewing the screen. Outdoors, cover screen is wide enough to type comfortably, something that the early folds really struggled with. And if you've seen the Magic V5 absurd 5000 nits screen, you'll know that Samsung still holds second place here. However, realistically, 2600 nits is plenty bright for any scenarios. As you can see, I can still view my videos really well, use the phone really well in bright sunlight, so that is not an issue at all. So using it when I'm on a flight, it is extremely easy to use. It's kind of replaced my iPad, which I used to use it when I'm traveling. So as you can see, I'm using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 to watch Netflix, and it's really convenient. All you need to do is open up the screen, plop it up on the phone holder that the airline provides, and it's really a gorgeous 8-inch display inside, and it's really beautiful. It really feels like an iPad mini, and it's just gorgeous. You can do a lot of things on the 8-inch screen, and I do think that it is one of the best 8-inch screens currently. The hinge is very tight, and you can't really see the crease on the inner display, so I do think that this is one of the best inner displays currently in the foldable market right now. So next up, let's talk about the performance. So under the hood, you do get a Snapdragon 8 Elite processor paired with a 12 or 16 GB RAM, as well as 512 GB of storage or 1 TB storage, and that is amazing. You can play games on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 with no issues at all. So I played FIFA Mobile, which is my favorite game currently, and there are no lags at all, no discrepancies whatsoever. I know it's not the most graphically intensive game, however it is still one of my favorite games to play, and it runs perfectly well on the Z Fold 7, even better sometimes than the Honor Magic V3, which has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor. And the phone doesn't really get too hot, although it does not have a thermal cooling chamber compared to the V3, which does have a thermal cooling chamber. So with the Samsung Galaxy Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, I do think it fares really well compared to the competition. And multitasking is where the Fold still shines. 2 apps side by side, even 3 if you want, and it is seamless. Now Honor's foldables do that as well, but Samsung's software polish is what is actually useful about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. So this Fold 7 does support up to 7 years of Android updates. With the Honor, you don't really know that, so this phone will last you all the way up to 2032, which is insane if you think about it. So on the back of the phone, you do get a 200 megapixel main camera, 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, and a 10 megapixel telephoto camera with a 3x optical zoom. So as you can see from the photos that I took, I think it looks really nice in bright sunlight. It is sharp, detailed, really color accurate. It's flagship level, although it is not up to the levels of the iPhone 16 Pro Max or even its own Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. However, low light is actually much improved compared to last year. The noise level is really better, shadows hold more detail, and overall I do think it is a much better camera compared to last year's Z Fold 6. So the cover display camera as well as the inner screen camera are useful this year, although it is not a under display camera anymore. I do think it is much more detailed compared to last year's Z Fold 6, which had a terrible under display camera. However, for selfies, you don't really want to use the front camera. All you have to do is just open up, go to the settings, go to the camera settings, and then switch modes so that you can, take a selfie with the inner display. So to do that, all you have to do is click on this, go here, and you're able to shoot a selfie just like that. So that's pretty sick, and all foldables do that, and I really love taking my selfies with the rear camera because it is the superior camera on your phone. So that's really great, and I love that about foldables. Alright, next, so let's talk about the battery life of the Z Fold 7. Now the Z Fold 7 has a 4300 mAh battery. Now that pales in comparison to the Honor Magic V5, which has a 6100 mAh silicon carbide battery. However, as I've used the V3 for about 6 to 7 months, the battery does degrade over the months. So the first few months is really strong. You get about 8-9 hours of screen on time, and that's really amazing. However, as you use the phone more and more, the battery does degrade, and you do get somewhere between 5, maybe 6 hours of screen on time. Now that is still perfectly respectable, and I have nothing to complain about that. However, currently with the Z Fold 7, I must say I do get about 5, 6, maybe even 7 hours of screen on time currently as I'm using it for the past 3 weeks, and I do think that's really respectable. You get about a full day's worth of battery life if you're a heavy user. You might get a day and a half if you're a light user, and that is perfectly fine with me because I use the Z Fold 7 really often, and I do get daily usage out of it. I just have to charge it once every night, and that is not a problem at all because I do charge other things daily, and a phone that can last a full day is A+ battery life in my book. So honestly, the 4000 mAh battery on the Z Fold 7, although it is nothing to scream about, I do think it is still very respectable battery life. So no complaints there. I've mentioned earlier Android 16. It is the first phone with One UI 8. The other Samsung Galaxy phones haven't come with One UI 8 yet, and Samsung does support 7 years of software updates, so you can upgrade your software on the Z Fold 7 all the way up to 2032, and that is really respectable. That is iPhone level of support. So I really do commend Samsung on supporting their phones all the way up to 7 years, and that is something that Honor genuinely cannot do because it is a Chinese company, and Google doesn't really give out 7 years of software updates to Chinese companies. So that is something that Samsung really holds true on, and 7 years of software update is really good if you do plan on keeping this phone for a really long time. So 7 years, amazing. So overall, when comparing everything together, when it comes to design, I do think that the Z Fold 7 really holds its own ground. Although the V5, Honor Magic V5 boasts a much thinner design, however, side by side, you can't really tell. I do really think when you hold it both in your hands, the Fold 7 is a lot more squarish, and the Honor Magic V5 is a bit more rounder. So it really depends on what you like. Do you prefer a more squarish, boxy design of the Fold 7, or do you prefer a more roundish design from the old iPhones? Then you should get the V5. But honestly, the thinness and the weight, it feels exactly the same. So if you base off of design, I do think it is a draw and nothing to complain about. Battery life, the V5 definitely will excel first. However, when it comes to over time, I do think that the lithium-ion battery on the Fold 7 will stand the test of time. But again, there's something that you have to see when it comes to my 6-month review or my 1-year review of the Fold 7, and let's see if the battery life can still hold up after 1 year. But honestly, right now, I do think that both smartphones have really great battery life, and I won't pick one over the other. Camera wise, I do think the Fold 7 finally has a flagship camera, which is with its 200 megapixel main camera, and it shoots really great photos. It can also shoot 8K video, which is something that no other foldable smartphone can do right now. So that is amazing. And right now in the foldable market, I do think that the Fold 7, although it is super pricey at $2,000 US, by some trading value, you can get this phone for about 1,200, maybe 1,100. But do look out for discounts in a few months time. I believe maybe Black Friday you should be able to get a good deal on this. But right now, at this current moment, definitely it is still a bit more expensive compared to the other Chinese foldables. However, if you live in America, I don't think you can get a Honor Magic V5 at all. So you can consider the Fold 7 because it is genuinely one of the best foldables right now. So Samsung has been the primary foldable market holder for a really long time. Last year it fell short because the V3 and Oppo Find N5 was genuinely one of the best foldables. However, Samsung really stepped up their game this year and provided one of the best foldables currently in the market. So if you're looking for a all-rounder, great software, great camera, great design, decent battery life, then look no further. The Z Fold 7 is definitely one of the best foldables out right now in this market. So if you guys can wait for a few months, wait for a few discounts on the Fold 7, or if you have the money to splash on definitely one of the best foldables in the market right now, you should definitely get the Fold 7. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to my channel, like this video, turn on the bell notification icon so you don't miss my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall catch you guys in my next video. Take care and goodbye.